everyone. I'm going to do a review on The Walking Dead, The Governor's Room. It's a, I guess, it's a model. So it, and it has, I think this is also called the fish tank room. And as you can see, it's got light up fish tanks. It includes the batteries, which is 4 LR44 batteries. They say it works with other brands. I wish I had my Legos out so I could test that theory, because to me they seem like a half inch smaller than Legos. So I'm kind of skeptical that they can actually work with other brands. But they're claiming they can. It's put out, I guess, by McFarlane. It's for ages 12 and up. And I don't know if this is the item number 14526. It is, of course, based on the hit TV series. I was never really into zombies. What happened is that after Pride, I read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and I liked that well enough. And then I got hooked on a book series, Kelly's Diary. It's actually a short story, or a series of very short story like books. I stopped liking that series quite as much by book 6. But anyway, you hear of people talking about The Walking Dead so much, I decided to give it a look. That's how I've actually gotten to a lot of my interests. That's how I took a look at Harry Potter and A Series of Unfortunate Events, because, there comes a point where everybody's talking about it, and so you're like, well, I want to see what all the hubbub's about. And I admit, The Walking Dead, it's got a good plot, got good character development, but it's very freaking depressing. And I barely managed to get through Season 2. I liked it well enough in Season 1 to look at Season 2, though I always needed breaks. Season 2, though I liked Herschel, I found it really depressing and didn't know if I wanted to watch it anymore. But I was curious about Michonne, so I held out to Season 2. And then I saw Michonne. I started out to watch her, but then I wound up really liking The Governor, so I really liked Season 3. And Season 4 was okay too, but I liked Season 3 the best, so that's why I got this set. It was made in China. It's got a choking hazard for 3-year, so you don't want to give it to a 3-year-old. It looks like it was put out in 2014. The UPC is 7879261455267. And on the back here, they show you some of the other sets. They have Daryl with Chopper, individual figures, prison tower, and gate. Now, when you look at this, because the picture on the front, it looks blown up, so you think it's going to be a lot bigger than it actually is. It's actually, let me show you. Okay, here it is. And if you look in my Lego kits, my Lego playlist, I show you the step-by-step part of building this. Okay, but it's actually a lot smaller than it looks in the picture. It's 7 inches long by 5 inches wide and about 3 1/4 inches high. So it's actually quite small. And actually, I found that to be a challenge to build, because it had, I complain of Legos sometimes having small pieces, but oh Lord, this had such tiny pieces and they didn't fit very well together. Now, as you can see, it does light up, because I'll show you without the lights. That's how it looks without the lights. On each side, it's got a switch, so you can turn them on. And it takes 4 LR44 batteries in all, 2 in each bricks. These are actually 2 separate bricks, but they're put together. And then there's these little nubs on the ground that it helps keep them in place. If you have fat fingers, you may find it hard to turn on the switch on this side. So sometimes it's necessary for some people to lift it up. So a lot of people didn't like that. So, but I have to admit, when I first got it, it didn't seem that impressive because the figures themselves, like if you look at the governor, his face is not even painted. Now, of course, they are very tiny. So I don't know how much detail they can give. But, I don't know, altogether, actually, suddenly, it does look very, the wall, the smooth side of the wall that has kind of this marbling effect. It's quite, it's nice, blood spatter on the door. The wood planks have, different colors. And they have these little crates. They're stuck to the floor with the nubs. And the chair, they got a butt print and, the holes. So it's actually got some very nice details. The lamp is also kind of, got an open book. Penny was the hardest to do. Her arms did not want to go into her torso, and then after I put her together, she didn't want to stand up, so actually I did it a little. They give you a few extra pieces so you can kind of individualize it if you want. I put a nub there to help her stand up. You don't see Penny's face. She's wearing the nap the sack over her head. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Walking Dead and you're looking at this for some other reason because you like horror models, Penny is a zombie. She's the daughter of the governor. She turned into a zombie. He kind of went insane and killed everybody he didn't like. And he keeps their heads as trophies. And he feeds their body parts to his daughter, who's a zombie. And, yeah. So, and that's what this pail of gore is over here. In the TV series, Penny's arms are restrained in a straitjacket, and of course they have the knapsack over her head to keep her from biting him until he's ready to, keep her head away. Because supposedly if somebody scratches you, a zombie scratches you or bites you, you can become a zombie. So, oh Lord, this thing is already going pretty long, isn't it? So that's why, in the series she's in a straitjacket. Now I believe in the comics they have her arms unrestrained, but then again I think in the comics she's 4 to 6 years old, whereas in the TV series they had her a little older. This is the outside, the grooves, the bricks are grooved so you can see it. Some of the one bricks, they have a groove. I didn't wind up putting them always facing the groove side. So there's little ways to kind of individualize it if you want. But it kind of looks like aluminum siding a bit. It wasn't as hard to get put together as I thought it was going to be. Unlike Lego that puts everything in one bag for all the steps you're going to have, it had a booklet that gives the steps like Lego did. But unlike Lego puts all the steps, in a certain bag. And this one had everything in separate bags, so I had to go hunting for different pieces. And so that made it difficult, but actually it wasn't as hard as I was expecting it to be. And the gate opens and closes. I don't know if you can see that. It wasn't as hard as I expected it to be. Actually, it turned out the only thing that was actually hard is that the pieces were really small and some of them were hard to put together, particularly Penny's arms. Oh, and the couch, the seat can lay back if he wants to. It's kind of a recliner. So, and now I'm going to turn it off, the lights, so maybe you can see it without, and that's it with without the lights, and it's quite nice. You can, do things. There's several things you can personalize it. You don't have to put the tanks the way they do, but the lights on the bottom even illuminate the ones kind of on the top. It's the strangest thing, though. As I was working on this, I don't know why, suddenly I started thinking about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Now, if you guys didn't grow up in the 80s, you probably have no idea who I'm talking about. But I don't know, suddenly I could picture the governor, It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day in this neighborhood, would you be mine? Hello, fish! Mr. Rogers, it was a kid's show. And I loved Mr. Rogers when I was a kid. And I never thought about it. I guess his main appeal is that he had this really soothing voice. To tell you the truth, I don't actually remember anything happening on the show. But he just had this really slow, soothing voice, And he had a cool little trolley, model trolley that moved on the tracks. And then he had a bunch of stupid puppets that I didn't really enjoy too much, but that made up part of the show. And every so often he'd go someplace and you learn about how something was made or something like that. But, it was part of those educational type televisions. So, I don't know, for some reason I was just thinking about Mr. Rogers. Oh, hello, fish. Mr. Rogers had a fish tank. And, feeding his fish. Oh, I'm telling you the names of his fish. Oh, that's Gladys and Omar, and up there is Bob. Bob's on a fish tank all by himself, and I think he looks rather lonely. Have you ever felt lonely? Yep, time to feed Penny too. You gotta eat a nice balanced nutrition, kids, to grow up big and strong. We're feeding Penny some nice liver and hearts and feet. Of course, you need to eat things like broccoli and cabbage and all that to get big and strong too. I could never get Penny here doesn't eat broccoli anymore. I could never get her to eat broccoli before she turned into a zombie. Yep. So I could just imagine this whole Mr. Rogers, morbid Mr. Rogers thing, I don't know, that's just me. But, of course, if you guys are born later or something, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video review, and stay tuned for more videos.